All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Journey into Ayurveda. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 9 today. Ashwini and I are continuing with our mini-series conversations with our Ayurvedic classmates. And we have Pilar to join and share about her journey into Ayurveda. So Pilar, thanks for coming and joining and sharing the Pilar's path into Ayurveda. And then as a little segue, side note, Ashwini and I were recently able to meet in real life for the very first time just a couple of weekends ago. And we were able to connect with Pilar and many of our other Ayurvedic classmates. And it was such an amazing experience. So I'd love to welcome Pilar to our podcast. And before we officially start, Ashwini, will you take us through a little internalization?
Yes, definitely. I really loved all the memories we had together. We made a shots and put that on Instagram. Go check it out.
Yes.
Let's start our internalization. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Paschantu. Ma Kaschit Dukkhavag Bhavet. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. Let all be well. Let all be away from all the diseases. Let all be safe and secure. Let all be away from the suffering. Let peace be prevail everywhere. Shanti. Thank you.
That was
Thank you so
beautiful.
much.
Yes,
Thank
thank you.
Hi, Pilar. How are you? And we welcome you to our podcast. We are so excited. Me and Kate are so excited for you to be here. We just had a very long week, Ayurvedic immersion in California. And how are you feeling?
First of all, thank you so much for having me in your special project. I feel very honored to be here with you and to be able to share my side of the story. So I'm actually just integrating everything. It was so much from the practical immersion. So there was so many things that were eye-opening for me, and that was beautiful, and a lot of information coming from everyone and such an amazing group to be around. So I'm really, really happy to be home and to be able to implement that in my day-to-day life.
Yeah, amazing. It was so much not just there's 5 of us that stayed together, which was so fun. And then we were doing these really in-depth assessments with people, and it's a really vulnerable space to share all of that. So it was just such a special space for so many reasons. So thank you for sharing that, Pilar. So
You're
side
welcome.
note, Pilar and I had time together in March, and we stayed with another classmate in Milpitas out in California in this tiny, 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 tiny house. There's tiny houses, and then there's what we stayed in. And so it was so fun to do that though. And we were there with my dog, and you made this really good dinner, and I think Anisha cooked for us a night too. And it was just so fun and so lovely to share that space. But I would love for you to share and tell a little bit more about who you are and where you're from and where you're living and some of your hobbies and passions and all of those kinds of things.
Sure. Well, just to recap, it was an amazing weekend. I love your dog. I love spending time with you too. And it has just been magical meeting so many people that are in the Ayurveda journey. So it's been amazing. And well, about me, I'm from Mexico, but I don't like to say I'm from Mexico. I feel like it's just encapsulating me to just one place, while I feel like I'm from this planet, and I feel so grounded in here. And well, I am a medical doctor, but I'm not practicing. Right now, I am in New York. I'm supporting my husband with his dream to be an OBGYN MD. And he's doing such a great job. And I'm actually living my dream by being here and to be able to do the things that I love without pressure and just to focus myself on being happy. That is my greatest motivation in life, just to be able to enjoy it, feel it fully, and just to experience everything that comes with it. And well, whatever being happy means, right?
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that. And you just recently moved to New York, right?
Yes, just a couple of months ago.
Yes, that's such a big move. So
How do
like
you
so
like New
impressed.
York?
It's amazing, but it was just like so much movement and so much
Mhm.
chaos and stress. So I'm just like, I feel so tired right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
Pilar, will you talk a little bit about like what brought you to Ayurveda and what is Ayurveda to you? Like what does it mean to you?
Yeah. So as I said, I like since I was little, I always had like these big feelings and these big questions about life and what am I doing here? How does this work? Like how does my body work? How do I keep it healthy? How do I do life? Like all these big questions that nobody could answer, but I felt like the closest thing that could answer these questions for me was medical school. So that got me into medical school. And it did answer some of the questions, but surprisingly, it could not answer like the most important ones. So I was kind of bummed to see like the biggest science and the most like big field could not answer my questions about the human body. So I was just like bummed out and I just started to look for answers everywhere. And an Instagram post just like appeared to me and it had just a little bit of information about Ayurveda, like such a logic and small thing that I was like, yeah, right? What is this? So I just like went into the rabbit hole of Ayurveda and I have been there since. And it's just amazing how it can explain everything, everything makes so much sense about everything, the human body, the human mind, the human emotions, like everything. It's explained by Ayurveda. And it makes total sense that the literal meaning of Ayurveda, it's the science of life. And I'm just like, yeah, this is what I was looking for when I was looking to study something to be a professional about. Like being a professional about life is just like, that's it. So that's it. It's like everything.
Yeah, I love that. It's like the elemental composition, and it can be this really big space or this like really tiny little space in our cells. Like that's what I love about it is that like total expansive and that contracted quality
Exactly.
in it.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can be as simple as you want or as complex as you like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Like Vaidhyarjya tells us, you don't find Ayurveda, Ayurveda finds you. So I feel like everybody's journey is like has been our journey is like we are not finding Ayurveda. It's just it found us and we are all connected through one thread of Ayurveda. I'm so excited. And that's why I get excited about this podcast and conversation with classmates in general.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Pilar, I'm curious, how long ago did you find that Instagram post? Was it like within a year or two, or like how long ago was it?
I think it was like maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I actually was looking through my memories of Instagram and the things the stories I shared and stuff like that. And I actually saw like 3 years ago or more, I shared a post about Ayurveda. And I was
Mm.
looking through it and I was like, oh, it was there all along. It was just waiting for the right time to see it and be like, oh, what is this? So,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for that.
yeah.
You're welcome.
And you were a medical doctor in Mexico. So what was your journey being like medical doctor and now studying Ayurveda?
Well, actually, for me personally, it has been really frustrating being a medical doctor, actually, because it's like your scope of practice and what you can and you cannot do. And obviously, I respect that, it's regulations and stuff, but I'm not actually like a big rule follower. So it just didn't feel right. Like, you're supposed to do the things that are not good for the human instead of the things that are not good and are not regulated, but it's proven to be the things that help. Like, for example, the pharmaceutical things and the treatments is all just so radical and nonsense, if you ask me. So being a medical doctor, for me, it was just that frustration not being able to comprehend my patients and not being able to help them. I actually, in my internship year as an observer, I would just sit with my patients. Well, not my patients, the doctor I was shadowing patients. And they just took like so long to see the patients. And I would just go in while they were waiting and just listen to them. And just to make the clinical history, like, when did this start? How much does it hurt? Does it hurt when you do this or that? Or is anything helping? And it would just start like that. And eventually they would just keep talking about their emotions and the stressors in their life at the moment. And I would just ask like common sense things that would rise to my head. Like, why do you think this is hurting? Like, what do you think is the answer to this illness of yours? And they would just know the answers by themselves. And many of them used to tell me like, I like this medical assessment better than the doctor's, but don't tell him. And I was just like, wow, life is so simple. Like, we don't really need to do as much things to be all right, you know? So,
Yeah, they always talk about like the healer is within, and I think that's such a good example of it.
yes,
Like, we all
exactly.
know, we just have to like talk and process it with each other.
Yeah, and just allow yourself to be the mirror that the patient needs, you
Mhm.
know? And just like allow a space for them to unload everything so they can look at it and just figure out what's helping, what's not, and get rid of what's not helping.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
so
love that. You're able
beautiful.
to be like a good container for them for that. That's so cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pilar, what based on Ayurvedic education so far, what are the three best things that you have experienced in your life, a result of learning Ayurveda, and what's the difference have you experienced because of that?
Well, I would say like from the singular, like to the particular, from the particular to the general, I would say first, the most important thing, and to this day, the things that more make sense to me about Ayurveda is the elemental composition of everything, the universe, the world, and yourself. Because it's so simple and it helps you to understand what's working and what's not working and why. And from there, like the answer or the things that you need to do to regain balance are very simple. So I found that amazing. Also, the mind. The mind and Ayurveda and psychology, it's just mind blowing or mind stabilizing, I would say, like more in that side. That's just amazing to learn how the mind works and the power of the mind, and to be able to have tools as simple as chanting mantras to calm the mind. I personally, I am a Bata Pitta, so my Bata brain is just flying all around always. And being able to experience this grounding effects that mantra chanting has was magic, pure magic for me. And I have tried everything to calm my mind, and nothing worked as mantras did. And lastly, yoga, the science of union, the body and the mind. It's just like perfect. I feel like this is the perfect formula to living a happy and healthy life. That's it.
Yeah, I love it. There's so much wisdom in the elements. And for me, too, the mantra has been so helpful. And like, you think about the elemental composition of Vata, Prakriti, and like mantras directly related to the ears, and that's related to Vata, and like all of that kind of stuff. Like, it's all connected and it's also deep. So I love that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. I met you in person, so You are a wealth of knowledge and positive, radiant energy. People can see that now. Do you have any final thoughts on you want to share? What you want to leave the listeners with?
Let's see. So I think it has to do with what Kate said. It's just like to remember the healer is within. And with so much information out there, I feel like people need to be reminded that not everything is like the strict truth about health, about happiness, about anything. Because the individual answer always, always lies within. And it may not be the same for anyone. So I would just like to encourage people to do what it feels right and do what resonates with the heart, because the heart is the biggest and the greatest guide of them all. So there's that.
Lovely. So well put. Thank you for that. Well, thanks for joining. Pilar, thanks for joining Ashwini and I. This is episode 9, Conversations with Classmates. Pilar's Path. You know, I love a good alliteration. If you didn't know that, now you do. So thanks for joining us. And as a reminder, our aim of our podcast is to provide educational content and to share a little bit more about our journey into Ayurveda. Please feel free to check out our Instagram and TikTok pages. We'll also share Pilar's in the description, so give her a follow as well. We will be back very soon, continuing into our Fact versus Fiction mini-series and our conversations with our Ayurvedic classmates in the very near future. And just as a reminder, you know what's best for you, like Pilar just said. This is not meant to seek or to replace any kind of medical care that you would seek from a medical provider. You know your body best, and you know what will be best. We'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
You.
Bye.
Bye.